I'm going to go ahead and we're going to create new text. You go to Create Text and check out the Options box. This Options box by default will look like this. You can type in what you want to show up, change the font, and we're going to use Poly since we know how to deal with polygons. The font, let's just stick with Times New Roman. That's totally fine. We'll create, and here we go. So it creates two groups. One of them is, if we open it up, we see it's just curves, so we can actually delete that whole group. And over here, this is all of our geometry. So we can take this, extrude it, give it some depth. And go back to object mode. And I like that group. You know what, but I'd much rather it be, no, you know what, I like that group. Let's go ahead and duplicate that group. So we have our first group and our second group here. Let's take both those groups, move them up. Group 1 and holding Command to hit Group 2, moving those up. Here's a little thing I'm going to do. We'll create a wall. We rotate 90 degrees, moved up, and expanded like this. And I'll make a floor. Both of these are going to be passive bodies. So if I select each of the letters, I can create an active rigid body. I don't want to select the whole group because that's going to make that group in its own a rigid body. And just make sure that I create a gravity field for all of those. Okay, so if I play it, these should fall. You'll notice that the A, for some reason, bounced off. It incorrectly calculated and hit one of the intersected with the plane. So we'll have to deal with that on its own. For each of these, let's take a look. We want to kind of shoot it away from the wall so that that'll have an initial velocity of z. So we can go in here and change all those. In fact, I bet we could change them all at the same time. Initial velocity z. Good. And we can give it some spin. So let's see. Right now, they're kind of like shooting out, but they're still pretty rigid. They're not fun. So let's give them some initial spin. Initial spin x, 70, and this r will be 90. This a will be 55. You know, I'm just putting in some random numbers. 75. So if I play it now, they'll all kind of like tumble and fall at a separate, different rate, which is pretty nice. Okay. However, we want to kind of create this animation in a nice way. So let's select all of these letters inside of the group, go to Edit, and we're going to go to Keys and bake the simulation. Beautiful. So this simulation is baked. But you see that they're still being controlled as rigid bodies. So let's go up to Edit, Delete by Type, Rigid Bodies. Aha, and now they're only controlled by keyframes. Beautiful. Let's have some more fun with this. Let's extend this a little bit, and we'll select all of these keyframes and pull it back, let's say 30 frames. And on frame 30, where my first keyframe is, I can go to visibility, turn it off, and set a key for all of these objects. So from frame 1 through 30, it has no visibility, and then the animation starts going, right? Let's select our letters. And right at frame 30, we can set a keyframe. And let's go back to like frame 10 and move them back in the wall and set a keyframe. So from 10 to 30, they're moving forward like they're extruding from the wall, and then the other letters fall. We need to do a little handoff though. So at frame 31, for these letters that are just straight up pulling out of the wall, frame 31, turn the visibility off, set another keyframe. Therefore, that's the handoff. Let's watch what happens. Nice, yeah? There you go. Pretty good. So if you want to, you can stop there if you're done. However, if you want to have a little more fun with it, let's take all of these letters, R-A-N, R-A-N, grab all of these keyframes and move them back like 2 frames. And then just grab the A and the N. Again, grab all of these keyframes, move them back like 2 frames. And then just grab the N, and grab all of these frames, and move them back about 2 keyframes. So let's watch it now. Yeah, just offsetting that animation a little bit. How cool is that?